Well, huzzah and well met again, lords and ladies. You might notice my helpers here are crowding me on screen, and we're going to have a lot of noise in this episode, so I hope that I've got the levels mixed just right. Anyways, you'll notice here that I have a few farms set up. If I could get my perspective correct, we have here a kelp farm, a bamboo farm, sugarcane, and dripstone. Now, these are all fairly simple, but a little expensive. You can see a lot of observers here. Use an observer to light up this redstone, and these observers observe all the way down. We have our light blue concrete to power our piston here. And we'll have a quick demonstration of how these work. The kelp one obviously requires that we have water sources if it doesn't make its own water sources. But you see, I didn't place that top one. Once it observes the change, the observer lights up that redstone, the signal travels all the way down, powers the piston, and we see one bit of kelp is stuck down here at the bottom. Everything else floats to the top, and you can have it collected at some point. Or you could put another water stream across the top that sends it somewhere. Unfortunately, with these larger farms we'll get to in a few moments, we can't do this underwater to my knowledge. I will keep experimenting with that to see if there's a way that I can make it work, and I will do an addendum video if possible. We also have a similar problem with the dripstone in that I have not been able to make the flying machines work on that for some reason. So, we might have an addendum video to this at some point, but these are still valuable. This bamboo farm works exactly the same way, except you don't need to have any water for your bamboo. And there it goes. Knocking all the bamboo down, easily to collect at this point. You could use hoppers to collect it. You just have to place bamboo on dirt. Now with sugarcane. Sugarcane does not grow very tall, but we can still make an automatic farm out of it. The one thing we do need to keep in mind is that sugarcane needs water nearby to work, or to grow and be placed at all. So, you can hide the water underneath there. All of these can be set up next to each other, so you could, in theory, well, not even in theory, you can in practice, place yourself a second farm right next to each other. Whoops. Observers always face away from you when you place them. They're very intense. They are not going to miss a thing. Now, the thing with this farm is that if either of these observers observe a sugarcane, it will activate redstone up to 15 blocks away. So you could see one sugarcane grow and 15 farms activate. Depending on how much sugarcane you need or want, this is fine. It's an automatic farm. Build yourself a collection system of some kind underneath. We'll discuss those in a little while. You might notice that my Allay are helping me collect sugarcane and bamboo, but we have some big farms to go after in a moment. So, pointed dripstone. If you need tons of pointed dripstone, a single farm like this will give you quite a bit after a while, but it is a very slow process. Same idea, but turned upside down. We have an observer. It powers this concrete block, which lights up this redstone. This observer sees that, powers this block, powers the piston, breaks our dripstone. Actually, I should have built this one taller so that our dripstone can continue to grow instead of breaking it off here. So that is my mistake. Also, this video is a redo of these two farms here because I was quite unhappy with how the video quality turned out. I was far more exhausted than I realized when I made it. So very quickly, we'll get a lesson about Allay. And we are going to need for that a spawn egg for Allay. Well, I suppose we wouldn't need a spawn egg, but if you want to make more Allay, or you only have one Allay and you need more Allay, put on some tunes, and they will gather around and dance. Then give any one of your Allay an amethyst shard, and it will duplicate itself. So as long as you have one Allay, you have all the Allay you need, as long as you have amethysts. But I'd rather not have troubles with music and such on this, so we'll leave this alone and move on to these bigger farms. Now, once you give an Allay an item, it will gather more of that item and come throw it at your head. Or, if you have a note block, it will throw it at the note block. Unfortunately, it seems like all of these hoppers are very, very full. Oh, that would be why. Our shulker box loader isn't working properly. There we go. I'll get into how to build one of these so that it works for you just as well. We've built these farms too close to each other, and the Allay are getting mixed up between note blocks. So this is meant to be all sugarcane, but the bamboo Allay are throwing them here. And if I go over there, the sugarcane will throw it into that note block collector. But anyways, as you can see, we put 2 observers observing each other. And that is just a super basic clock that will just continue to bounce a signal back and forth, back and forth. And I've used a shulker box loader over here, which keeps breaking because I've not been paying enough attention to keep it cleaned up. This is too full. And so this is overloaded. Yep, very much overloaded. But I will put a link to my shulker box loader video. Goodness, that's just out of control. Well, we'll just let it break itself so it's quiet for the video. I'll put a link to the shulker box loader video in the description, and that way you'll know how to build one of these. It is the exact same design. We used a concrete block underneath the note block. Whatever you put your note block on top of changes the sound. So over there, I put it on top of a bone block. And you'll notice a difference in sound. We get almost cowbell type of sound for this one. That one had a more bass drum type of sound, or a simple bass note anyways. And your Allay will go and throw items at it. So we're using hoppers here. This I let get backed up and break. This collection system is a little more straightforward. It goes through the hoppers. It comes to these chests. You'll see it's been running for a little while. Oh my. So obviously, lots and lots of bamboo. These are also set in sequence, but they don't fill up in sequence. So just because this bottom chest is full doesn't mean these are entirely full. The volume of bamboo moving through here means that some of the bamboo moves ahead before these boxes are full. Now you'll see our flying machine here doing its part of the job, and I'll show you how to build one of those in short order. As I said earlier, the dripstone version of this one isn't working properly. It requires more testing, but I got ahead of myself and built it already for this one. Once again, I apologize if the noise is off, or the noise levels are off, and this is hard to hear me while they're working. So what we have here, and I'll just hover over these so you can see, is these concrete blocks. I'm actually going to use 2 different colors for the sake of letting you see visually what we're up to here. So this is one flying machine. You will need a lot of slime, and I will show you how to build these. Actually, I'll just take this one apart so you can see right now. We'll leave our blocks here. People, if you found this farm elsewhere, you might have been instructed to chunk align the farm, which I can't say one way or another has made much difference while I'm floating around here in a creative world, and my simulation distance is very high as well as my render distance. So it might not be a problem. It might be. If you want to chunk align it, it's fine. If you don't do so, it's also, I think, going to be fine, especially if you plan to stay in the area. However, if you do plan to stay in the area, just know that your Allay will get distracted and they'll come throw things at your head. They do it because they love you, though. So, we'll start from our concrete block here. This one is 16 blocks away from this central point. And you'll see that our flying machine doesn't go all the way to the edge. We needed this central area to be open for our collection system. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and make an L. Now it's important that we do this in the right order. I was helping my own children build some of these today in their Minecraft world. And if you do this out of order, so you saw me there, build a temporary block, do our L shape, or our backwards L shape if you look at it this way, 6 slime blocks, and then 1 concrete block. It doesn't matter that it's concrete, you can use whatever blocks you like as long as it's a solid and it's not obsidian, so that our flying machines don't get stuck or hung up somewhere. Now what we need are observers, regular pistons, and sticky pistons. And regular pistons, because apparently I'm silly like that. But you want to start with this outer observer. This is the important part to do in order. So build your slime arms like this. And then on the second slime block, observer facing that way. This is going to be what activates your flying machine. And then you will place a regular piston, and then an observer observing that piston, and a sticky piston. Then turn yourself around, place your observer, regular piston, observer, sticky piston. Now, you can manually activate these. See, the observer activates the piston, the other observer observes that, and then it activates the sticky piston, and there's a push-pull effect, and it breaks its way through all of this bamboo. Now, if my Allay weren't so busy because they can't get rid of what they have, they will come and collect. Oh, there's a few of them going to work. They'll start collecting the bamboo that's been broken down. And these will go automatically because the bamboo will grow without your input. That's just a way to manually activate it. Come over here and see our obsidian stops our flying machine from flying off into infinity. You'll build 2 of these per side. Oop, this is a bug that I've been dealing with in these lately, and I think it's because I have too many entities going on at the moment with too much bamboo laying around on the ground. So just be aware of that these machines can break. But they're fairly simple to repair, especially if you have other ones around for reference. But I see these regular pistons get out of place occasionally. And as I said, I've been working on that over there while these have been trying to run without any input. So just be aware that these are going to require some repairs here and there as you go along. obviously very high volume farms. And without wanting to make this video too long, this is a re-release because, as I said, I wasn't happy with the quality and how little I had shared. There will also be another video coming forthright, because I don't want to deprive you of my dulcet tones and all of these awesome redstone builds that we get. So, make sure that you cover this up with glass so your Allay can't get in here and try to throw their items from the underside of the note block. You can raise this quite a ways, or you can lower it down into the ground and dig a trench. I didn't do that because flat worlds are not that deep. But you'll see the same effect over here. I can activate one of these. And away it goes, mowing down all of the sugar cane. Oh, there goes another one just as we did that. If I had only waited a moment. You see our Allay are working hard, gathering everything up, and Allay can carry a whole stack of one item that they're holding, so 65 items, but they won't ever give you the last one, unless you take it from them. You can give an Allay an item, and then if you like to take the item from them, you just give them an empty slot. So we'll go and show that for a quick crash course in how to use Allay. Whoop. And then it gave me something. Now it has nothing. We'll give it back though. They're much happier when they have an item. And they're much more useful when they have an item. So that is our bamboo and sugarcane farm. Unfortunately, I've not been able to make one work underwater for the sake of a kelp farm that's very similar. If that comes up to pass, I will have an additive video, a part 2 to this one. But for now, this is your White Sun Paladin on to the next adventure, and hopefully you are blessed on your next quest. Thank you all.